New at 10 tonight, we've learned that the suspect in this week's horrific murder-suicide was an online astrology influencer. Here's a look at her, who posted about the solar eclipse being the apocalypse. Fox 11's Gina Silva, she's live with developing new information on this case tonight. Gina?
Marla, this case has been so shocking from beginning to end, and now we're learning about a new disturbing layer to this tragedy.
A lot of our foundations as a society are toxic. They're ungrounded and they're unrealistic.
LAPD confirms Danielle Johnson, a.k.a. Danielle Ayoka, seen here on the Scotty and Sylvia show, was an astrology influencer on social media who was concerned about the eclipse.
Eclipses, there's more births, there's more deaths.
Leading up to the eclipse on Monday, Danielle, who went by the handle Mystic X Lipstick, made several alarming posts like these. Wake up, the apocalypse is here. And the eclipse is the epitome of spiritual warfare. She also reposted alerts that signaled this is the final warning. Something big is coming.
This type of story is probably one of the most tragic and horrifying stories that we'll ever hear about.
Like the rest of us, clinical psychologist Dr. David Swanson, who never treated Danielle, is trying to make sense of this horrific tragedy. Just hours before the eclipse was to take place over California, Danielle stabbed her boyfriend to death in Woodland Hills, pushed her kids out of a moving car on the 405 freeway in the Westchester area, which resulted in the death of her 8-month-old baby and the injury of her 9-year-old daughter. Then Danielle died after crashing her Porsche into a tree in Redondo Beach.
Perhaps she thought that this eclipse meant that it was the end of the world. The apocalypse was here, especially because of some of the statements that she made.
There were plenty of similar posts and videos on social media predicting all kinds of disasters and the end of the world.
And when you're sitting on TikTok or you're on social media, and clearly she was an influencer, so you know she watched a lot of this stuff, it's very easy to get sucked into the fear that these videos start to create.
Could this have been postpartum depression?
I don't think it would have been totally postpartum depression, because we have a lot of women who deal with postpartum depression and it doesn't result in something like this. But certainly any type of mood disorder makes it much harder to cope with other things as they start to come up.
Looking at this tragedy in hindsight, Dr. Swanson says there were obvious signs. The happy and smiling Danielle had changed and was struggling with something dark.
She was warning people. She was saying, pick a side. The way that she typed about it was in all caps. It looked like she was very disturbed.
If you or someone you know is struggling with a mental health crisis, this is the number to call. 866-903-3787. I'm Gina Silva, Fox 11 News.
Prayers and condolences goes out to the family. This is beyond a tragic tale. And what's sad is that a baby has died, and the daughter is recovering. The boyfriend is murdered, and she took her own life. This is the reason why I despise people who hate monger and push conspiracy theories. Shout out to Willie D, because this is where I got this news article from, through him. And to be honest, I have sympathy for the children and the boyfriend in this situation. They were innocent. And of course, the children will always be innocent. So apparently, From what I gathered, this was a social media influencer in astrology. And what's more, the irony, she was talking about toxicity, but she killed her family and herself. Ain't nothing more toxic than that. I mean, she's known on Twitter X, TikTok, and I guess YouTube, but I'm not saying that I'm not making I'm not making that claim legit. I'm just saying right now, it's pretty hard for me to react to this because of how bad the situation is. But she's talking about the eclipse will bring the end of the world. The eclipse will bring Armageddon. For those of y'all who's in the spiritual realm, the vast majority you already have that understanding. Nobody knows when this is going to happen. Not even a lunar eclipse will tell you this. But it's clear to see that she was a doomer. She was a straight up doomer. Oh, the eclipse will bring doom to the world and all this type of stuff. But did that give her a reason to murder her family? No. Murdered her boyfriend at their apartment. Drew her kids out of a moving car on the interstate. Before smashing her car into a tree and killing herself. You can't tell me that she was not mentally disturbed. Even from my expertise. She was mentally disturbed. So the lunar eclipse made you murder your entire family and killing yourself in the process. I believe it's called murder-suicide. This does not make any sense at all. And this is the reason why I don't take conspiracy theorists, doomers, and fearmongers seriously. And suppose somebody who watched their content decided that they will do the same thing too. Shoot, I was out watching the lunar eclipse as well, but I didn't felt no signs of danger, no signs of doom and gloom, no signs of the world coming to the end. It was just an eclipse. After that, business as usual. Now, who was the one who was sitting there telling me, oh, women don't commit violence against their boyfriends and husbands that? Again. Because I got yet another Amazon Prime example. And why was it so bad that she had to murder her entire family, all because of it? And what's more, She's a social media influencer. I think it's crazy. And yes, I think it's crazy. We're the ones they label as being controversial, but then again, you got this shit happening. And I already know what part 3 is going to be. These big tech giants, I'm going to piss the fuck off. But back to the story at hand. Funny, the eclipse came and it went, and the world did not end. There's no Armageddon. There's no anarchy. There's nothing. And yes, this does grind my gears when I hear stories like this. In fact, I can't even go on with this any longer. Because most of the things I said, most of the things I wanted to say, I already said. Again, my prayers and condolences goes out to the family. No one deserved to be murdered. And that's the bottom line. But nevertheless, I said what I had to say. I'm done, and I'm out this bitch. Later.